You guys know exactly what time it is. It is time for the post-game show for chapter 1143. Today, we're going to be going through the full spoiler video and looking to see what theories you guys are cooking up and what observations you had after reading them. So with that being said, let's get right to it. Okay, first comment of the night. It says, the point about food only tasting good but not giving you nutrition explains why Killingham couldn't solve the food shortage in Marie-Joie on his own. And yes, I think this is a really important nerf by Oda, because you're exactly right. If Killingham could do this, my god, Dragon would be in the mud. Like, imagine Dragon worked all these years to destroy that food supply, and he's like, oh, when the Holy Knights move, we're gonna go too. And then they just never move because they have Killingham. Yeah, that would suck. So I'm glad Oda did add in that distinction. And I wonder if outside of this point, if it'll come back later on as well. Like maybe Killingham spawns food and Luffy tries to eat it and then Luffy gets upset? I don't think he would. I mean, I don't know. Like, what would it be like to eat something but to also not eat something? Because you get the taste, you just don't get the nutrition. So would it be fulfilling? I don't know. So next comment though, they say, I want Scopper to hold off the Holy Knights until the monster trio comes back to the Sun Realm and hit us with the classic, this isn't my generation. I'll let the young ones take over. Luffy versus Killingham with their Toon Force abilities. Sanji versus Summers, love and food experts. And then we have Zoro versus Gunko, directions. Her awakened ability could be similar to Shinji's ability from Bleach. Oh, wait, that's genius. I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing, right? Paramecia awakenings, they typically just transform the environment into their devil fruit, right? Doflamingo did that, right? Buildings turned into string, and then with Katakuri, the ground turned into mochi. So for Gunko, would the ground and trees and everything just turn into arrows? I think so. But I do like this ability a lot. Like, if you guys don't know what Shinji's ability from Bleach is, when he uses his Shikai and even Bankai, he reverses all of your directions. So if you move forward, or if you try to move forward, you actually move backwards. And even everything you see is reversed as well. So it sounds like a really mundane ability, but you know, you're so used to moving a certain way that you actually F up a lot. So I think that's actually a genius idea. I don't think that's going to be it just because One Piece hasn't shown us an awakening like that, but I like the idea a lot. I really do. But as far as Luffy versus Killingham, yeah, I mean, Killingham does have a Toon Force Dream Imagination ability like Luffy, but would it be able to really give Luffy a challenge? I don't know. It would be a fun fight. I think it would be a fun fight. And then Sanji versus Sommers, I think there's just so much there, so I'm totally down for that one. But yeah, I like these matchups a lot. Honestly, you could even switch up Zoro and Gunko with Luffy and Killingham. Just switch the opponents, and I think that would be fine too. I think the only one for me that's really set in stone is Sanji versus Sommers. I feel like this is just right there. Like, Oda could not be more obvious with who this guy's going to get matched up with. And as far as Scopper goes, right, you say Scopper's going to stall them in the meanwhile. I like that as well. I mean, we had that with Rayleigh, where Rayleigh was over here stalling Kizaru, stalling Kuma, stalling Sentomaru and all of them for a while too. And then we had that at Wano with Marco, right? Marco's over here fighting King and Queen. And then the minute Zoro and Sanji shows up, he's like, hey, I'm going to let the stars of the show take over now, guys. Yeah, so this is a One Piece thing through and through, and I do like it. Sommers sounds like a real celestial dragon, not gonna lie. He's a saint, so it's double celestial, yeah? Sommers, I don't want to go to his house. I mean, you know, as a friend I would, but I would hate to see all the slaves he has. Like, does he specifically buy parent-child duos just to enact his sick fantasies? Because in this chapter, you know, he's all like, oh, there's nothing better than watching a parent die in front of a child, and then the child gets super traumatized because of it. It's like, all right, Summers, this guy must throw some crazy parties at his house, man. I don't know. Next up, we have this one, which says, when it comes to Killingham, if he has control over every kid on Elbaph's dream state, doesn't this mean Bonney is in trouble too? Having her go back to Marie-Joie with the other kids and giving her her own storyline going back to the Holy Land would be crazy, especially if Kuma is going to wake up soon. Edit. Imagine if Bonney, in her new Devil Fruit ability, is the first version of Nika the Holy Land gets to see. Okay. Yeah, Bonnie is an interesting one because I do agree. I feel like she is in danger right now. Even Colin, right? But the problem with Colin and Bonnie is that we don't exactly know where they're at, right? Last we saw, Lilith went off with Bonney to go to, what was it? They called it something silly, like the permit house on Elbaph to get some license to live here. Super goofy, in my opinion. But yeah, Bonnie's not in the school. So Killingham putting her to sleep, that could be possible if he's just using it on Elbaph as a whole. But if he's only using it on the school, then Bonney should be good. But also, we don't know if you can break out of Killingham's dream ability or sleeping ability if you have hockey. Because we do know that Bonney has basic observation and armament hockey as well. So there is a chance that it doesn't work on her. But we'll see. I feel like that's a really questionable one. And then I brought up Colin a second ago too, because we don't know where Colin is at either, right? I feel like whenever we talk about Scopper, we always have to remember that Colin is his son, and that Scopper would pretty much drop everything to rescue his son, or at least I hope so, right? So with that being the case, I hope next chapter, if I had to put money down on something, and if I would want something, I would want a Bonney and Colin update. You know, let me know how the kids are doing, man. Are they good? Are they dreaming? Are they sleeping? What are their demons even? And for Bonney, actually, what would Bonnie's nightmare be? That's a good question. I would assume it's just her losing her dad, but we can't just have like an evil, scary nightmare Kuma up there, or like a Kuma that's dead just haunting Elbaph. Oh, maybe it's Saturn. Dude, actually, wait, imagine if it's just Saint Saturn, because Saturn has been essentially torturing her family the entire time. So yeah, it could be Saturn. Yeah, Saturn is dead in real life, or in the world of One Piece, but he's gonna come back as a nightmare. That'd be really goofy. Wait, would Killingham pull it out and be like, wait, boss, Saturn? What are you doing here? Oh, that'd be kind of fire, actually. And then as far as Colin goes, we don't really know enough about him to speculate what kind of nightmares he would have. I'm assuming it's gonna be in the same line as all the other kids here on Elbaph, where he's just afraid of a Nordic monster. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Maybe like a giant serpent. Oh, no, we already have Jormungandr Gunter. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely something Nordic, though. So now, going down one more time, they say, the only way I can see Sanji fighting Summers is through Nami's involvement. After she gets badly wounded, trying to save the kids. Oh, you're so right. Yeah, I mean, Sanji, I could see him just running into Summers and fighting him right off rip, but of course, if we want to specifically target Summers, right? If there's 3 God Knights there, he might go for Killingham. He might... Okay, he's not going to fight Gunko because he doesn't hit women. But yeah, it's like 50-50. So to really solidify this matchup, I do agree. I do think that Summers has to do something to hurt Nami. And you said it right here. You hit the nail on the head. But Nami loves kids. Nami always tries to be that mother figure whenever she can. So yeah, here we go, right? The kids are walking off into a fire. You know, they're about to hop on a celestial dragon ship. Nami's gonna want to stop them. Even if it pains her, I think she would try whatever she can. And maybe she's like, hey, Sanji, I need your help. You know, get rid of these thorns. And then Sanji will be on it like white on rice. And yeah, I actually like this a lot. I didn't think about why Sanji would target Summers specifically. I just had that matchup in my head, but I never really thought about how to get there, right? So great comment, great comment. So going down, they say... Summers, here we make murdering sensational. That's a fire line, by the way. That's a good line. God Knights got some cold one-liners. Dining while ensuing chaos is so badass. Yeah, I think Oda's done a really good job with the God Knights. In comparison to, what's the last villain group we met? I guess the Toby Roppo, right? The Toby Roppo would be kind of like equivalent in a way. And the Toby Roppo, we met them one by one, and then we had Onigashima, and they're all partying, you know, Queen is over here singing, and then you open the doors and you see all the Toby Roppos sitting in a group. I personally would much prefer this right here, where they're all just eating dinner while everybody's dying in the background. I think this is fire. I love it, I love it. Summers, salt, Summers, salt. Maybe one of his best moves. Ooh. Not bad. I don't think he'll have a somersault ability, but you got me thinking, what if he does have food-based attacks? No, that wouldn't make sense, right? He's a thorn guy. Yeah, he's a thorn guy. He wouldn't do attack names like Sanji, where Sanji's is all food-based, but maybe. I mean, a lot of characters do have themed attack names, so what would Sommers be? I mean, maybe it is just somersault. Summertime madness. Yeah, maybe it's just like puns off of summer. Or love. It could be love attacks, right? And then Killingham, he could have like just straight up cuting abilities. And then Gunko, I don't know. Gunko hasn't said anything yet, right? In terms of like attack names. Even with Cerberus and Shamrock, we don't got anything. Damn. I want to hear them shout out their anime attack names, bro. I know it's cheesy. Not a lot of people really like it, but I'm down for it. I'm down for it. This one says, despite the goofy designs, these guys are already pretty evil. The fact that Sommers responds to the possibility of the kidnapped kids being led towards a fire on Branch 8, where they will burn alive, is just, well, if they don't make it, we can just find another group, is chilling, not gonna lie. Yeah, and he speaks about it so nonchalantly. They're even kind of joking about it as well, because I think Gunko's the one who points that out, and he's like, whoa, we just have another group over here. And I think he calls it a game. Like, we can have another round of the game later. So he doesn't even see these kids as kids, right? They're just pawns, they're chess pieces, they're video game lives that he's just losing. He's just tossing it into the fire. And yeah, I'm all about it. Of course, some people are arguing that this is too comically evil, but you gotta imagine, bro, like, the Celestial Dragons have always been comically evil ever since Saboti, right? I think we had the first scene we had with Celestial Dragons was where they were walking in a straight path, somebody didn't see them, and he just shot them and then stole his wife. It was something so ridiculous. So I think this is pretty par for the course. If you think about it, taking people's dreams might be one of the sickest powers we've seen so far. Damn you, Oda. Yeah, damn you for giving this to a villain. So Killingham, since he can pull out your dreams and manifest them, I'm curious, would Oda reveal Luffy's dream via Killingham? Because you gotta remember, like, when we were on our way to Egghead Island, Luffy was like, hey, my real dream outside of being the Pirate King is blank. Right? Like, he didn't say anything. We didn't hear it. We cut over, and then everybody's laughing. They're having a hoot and holler about it, and we are left in the dark as an audience. So, could Killingham pull it out? I feel like Luffy's dream isn't going to be physical. It's not something you can actually, like, pull out and manifest. But who knows? I'm curious. What is Oda gonna do with this? And then also, the other Straw Hats, right? If he goes into their dreams, what will he be able to extract out of them? Like, what kind of nightmares, what kind of dreams, what are they thinking of? How will Killingham use this ability on other people? This one says, it's kind of funny how everyone keeps forgetting Mother Carmel was there too. Before she got kicked out, they could have had that information for years. She was a double agent, yes. This is in reference to the God Knights being familiar with Elbaph's layout. So yeah, Mother Carmel was a double agent, and then of course, we have this weird King Harold and Shamrock connection. So there is a lot here that the God Knights should be privy to. And I'm wondering now, like, when it comes to the Heaven Realm, and I know I keep on bringing this up, I beat it like a dead horse, but what is up there? And who will be the first group that goes there? Will it be the God Knights? Will it be the Straw Hats? Will it be the Giants? Like, how does the Heaven Realm tie into this? We've been to the Underworld like 4 times. We've been in the Sun Realm the entire time. The Heaven Realm, like, nobody's talked about it. What is up there? I'm so curious. I don't know. It feels like when you go to a restaurant and you see like an area that's barred off, like, oh, do not enter, employees only. You gotta admit, there's always that slight part of you that is a little bit curious. Like, what's back there? I gotta know. I'm curious, man. I'm curious. That specific line of nutrition is to specify that he cannot manifest devil fruit copies into existence. Oh, huh. So if you dream of a devil fruit, he pulls it out and it doesn't work. I think that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like that'd be a crazy loophole too. I agree with it being mainly because of the revs and to really put some importance on their attack at Marie-Joie, but I think this could just be another one too, right? I think it could be both points. Harold was planning to join the world government and Loki was forced to kill him in order to protect Elbaph. Yeah, maybe Harold was confiding in Loki saying, hey, I'm going to go through with this plan. I need you to back me up. And then Loki was probably like, hey, let's not do that. And then they had an argument and then Loki ended up killing King Harold. That's a tough one because King Harold in this chapter really did seem like a good guy. I know we didn't see his face. I know he looked really intimidating with the horns, just kind of, hunched over his kids, but what he said about Hardin and Loki working together and serving Elbaph, it seemed genuine, right? So, did he really want to join the world government? Was he manipulated? I'm just not too sure how he fits into the story yet, man. It's tough, it's tough. This one says, Sommers' Thorn Fruit is the superior version of Miss Doublefinger's Spike Fruit. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I agree. Miss Doublefinger, man, I haven't heard about her in a long time. Where is she? She wasn't in Impel Down. No, she escaped with Miss Golden Week, right? Yeah, I believe she escaped and she's with some other remnants of Baroque works. But yeah, Miss Doublefinger. The only thing I remember when I think of Miss Doublefinger is one scene where Nami's trying to stop her and she starts kicking her, and then Miss Doublefinger like spikes through Nami's foot. That was crazy. And then the other one was when Miss Doublefinger used it on her boobs to just shoot holes in the wall. Both insane scenes, by the way, but as far as Sommers' Thorn Fruit being superior, 100%. I mean, it's not even close, right? Sommers' Thorn ability, it's over here doing more damage the more you love somebody, and that is just one aspect of his power. Sommers probably has a whole bag of tricks that we have not seen yet. You know, like, this is invisible thorns surrounding children. He hasn't even started fighting yet. When he fights, I'm expecting thorns, you know, coming out all around you, thorns coming out of the ground. You know, he's using thorns to capture you and imprison you. Maybe he uses thorns on his blade and he just starts shooting it out at you as well. Like, the thorn ability, nuts. And just like Miss Doublefinger, maybe if you try to punch Sommers or kick Sommers, thorns start piercing you as well. And that is another reason, I just thought about this, that's another reason why I think the Sanji matchup could go really hard. Because whenever he uses thorns against Sanji, Sanji has the Jerma exoskeleton. You know, Sanji's part metal, cyborg, or whatever. You know, it's hard to describe. But it wouldn't work, I think, unless the thorns are just coated in crazy hockey. But yeah, no, I love that. I love that. This one says, what if Sommers is the opponent of Zoro and Sanji? Zoro and Sanji. Sommers can use his thorns on one of them when Sanji and Zoro inevitably start fighting each other, and the thorns can give an indicator on how the two actually feel. This is like a romance show. Dude, how do you really feel about me, Sanji? How do you feel about me, Zoro? And then they just do this and then they get really damaged. Oh my god, that's so funny. I like it. I mean, the idea is fun, and I would like if Zoro and Sanji teamed up again by the end of series, and it would be a matter of who. If Sommers is the guy that Sanji and Zoro team up against, the God Knights are cracked. I mean, Zoro, absolute monster. Sanji, absolute monster. You put them both against one guy, you know how much hype Sommers is gonna have? Would it be presumptuous to say that if Zoro felt the need to actually team up with Sanji and ask for help, or vice versa, we'd have to have talks about this guy being like a Yonko tier caliber character, right? Sommers? Oh, man. I mean, unless it's like a gimmick fight where they need each other for Sommers, like you can't fight him solo, then that's fine. But if Sommers is really that dastardly, like base level, my god. I mean, I think that'd be fun. The way I see it too is that I want the God Knights to be very powerful. And that's simply because we don't have a lot of villains left to fight, right? Think about it. We got the Blackbeard Pirates, the God Knights, and then that's it. You know, unless Oda introduces a new faction, that's pretty much it right there. You know, I doubt we're going to go all out against Cross Guild, right? We'll fight Mihawk, we might fight Crocodile, and that's it. But as far as like full-on factions go, the God Knights are the pinnacle right now, right? And we need to have these fights be impactful. Like, these are the fights we're going to end off with in One Piece. Like, there's not a lot left, right? You want to end on a big note, and I do think a Zoro-Sanji team-up would be really freaking cool. But that's just me. I don't know how the Zoro and Sanji fans would feel about that, but I think as far as hype goes, A1. As far as them loving each other and being good friends, this feels like a romance anime if that were to happen, but I think it'd be funny nonetheless. Direct parallel to Little Garden, the numbers chilling, drinking tea while the plan unfolds. Sommer and Killingham chilling, eating while theirs unfolds. Yes, so by numbers, I'm assuming you mean Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week and how they're drinking tea and eating biscuits. And yeah, 100% that is a really nice parallel. All we're missing is a wax house and a giant birthday cake, but yeah, I like the parallel. And of course, we know what Mr. 3 did to Dorian Brogy. My god, he was a monster. Dude, oh wait. This is headcanon. But imagine Cross Guild shows up and Mr. 3 is the one who saves the giants. Not gonna happen, he would never do that. But hey, we can all dream, can't we? This one says, these 3 Holy Knights seem to have abilities that are more suited to stealth and subterfuge than face-to-face combat. I think there's a good chance though we might not beat them this arc. They could just quietly kidnap the kids, leave, and then the Straw Hats have to deal with the fallout. Although, I think we'll see at least one major confrontation. Their abilities, yeah, I agree their abilities are very suited for this mission. I mean, even Shamrock agrees, right? Shamrock brought these guys over, and he said, hey, let's make a game out of this. With our powers, let's make a game out of this. So he knows what they're all about. As far as face-to-face combat goes, I think Summers should be pretty decent. And then as far as Gunko goes, we are utilizing her ability in a way to make sleeping kids walk. But we have seen Gunko fight already. I mean, I know they weren't like insanely strong, but Gunko did beat all of Loki's animals, you know, no diffed a couple of giants. And then she did do some decent damage to Loki as well, right? We saw her bring arrows out, stab everybody. We saw her create these giant boots and just kick Loki across the face. So I would say these abilities could be used for face-to-face combat. And then as far as Killingham goes, his is kind of weird because yes, the dream manifesting powers I don't think would work well in a 1v1, but if he has other Keating abilities or chilling abilities, you know, people go back and forth between that one, then he should be pretty strong as well. I mean, dude, a mythical dragon who in mythology can shoot fire, lightning, and fly and hit you with a light beam. I mean, yeah, dude, I think all these God Knights are just really well-rounded. Like, the versatility in their abilities is nuts. I think they will also be really good face-to-face combatants. And hey, will they have hockey, right? Well, I think they will have hockey, but how far is their mastery of hockey? Are we going to see advanced armament, advanced observation? Because if we do, man, the Holy Knight training regimen, it must go pretty hard. Luffy versus Lucci, round 2.0, being longer than Scopper and Loki's fights is funny. I like how you put fight in quotation marks. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, it's not really a fight. Like, Luffy didn't fight Scopper. Luffy didn't fight Loki. It was more so like, hey, Scopper wanted to test them out and see what they're all about. And then Loki, he tried to bluff his way out of a fight. He got a fight and he lost because he had 1 HP. As far as Luffy versus Lucci's fight being long, I think this makes sense. I mean, Lucci's been training, right? The minute when Luffy beat Lucci, Lucci has been training. He awakened. He got hockey. So I think this makes sense, right? We were talking about like his, quote, rival, his self-proclaimed rival in the world government. So I'm down for it. This one says, I don't think Summers is a cook, but rather he only eats with the best ingredients. Yeah, okay. I agree with this as well. This is my fault. So he is a food connoisseur, but I mixed it up and I just called him a chef because of that, you know? And the thing is that some connoisseurs are also chefs, but doesn't have to be the case. And then of course, I remember that he's a celestial dragon and I'm like, okay, celestial dragons don't cook, man. Like, they got slaves for that, right? So yeah, I agree. He is just a guy who's familiar with a lot of ingredients instead. This one says Summers won't be a chef, but the opposite, a food critic. Yeah, there we go. Wow, look at that. 2 Sommers comments back to back. Actually, now that I think about it, damn, this entire video is essentially just Summers, huh? It's just nothing but Sommers hype. Also, we don't have like a direct English translation for Sommers. Some people call him Sommers with an O, and then some people call him Summers with a U. So that's why I do go back and forth between that. I think the Viz calls him, I don't know anymore. I read too many translations. I think I read about 3 to 4 translations per chapter. So I kind of got that mixed up. But either way, until Oda comes out and spells it in English, you know, it's kind of up in the air. But now, going down, this one says, Scopper is cutting down the Elbaph tree when fighting Sommers. He's just going all out, and he gets caught in the crossfire of the Lumberjack. I like how you call Scopper a Lumberjack. That's a cool title. Oh, wait. Would we rather have Scopper be called the Mountain Eater or the Lumberjack? I think Lumberjack goes kind of hard. I don't know. Scopper cutting down the Elbaph tree. I don't think he will. He knows how important this is. He's been living here for 20 years. If he's the one who cuts it down by accident, I think that'd be kind of an L. I mean, it would be really hype, but it's also like, brother, control your power, man. What are you doing? That you live here, man. Your son and wife live here. Come on. But I think that would be pretty cool, nonetheless. So going down, they say Loki having bandages in his eyes probably means that he is a Cyclops. I don't think so. I thought this initially as well. I thought that there might be a weird one-eyed situation, and Cyclops are very prominent in a lot of mythologies and in a lot of stories as well. But the problem with Loki being a Cyclops is that when we first saw him, I think in the very first chapter, right? The very first chapter where we saw Loki, we saw two eye holes. You know, there wasn't just an eye hole in the middle. We saw two distinguished eye holes. They kind of sunk in a little bit. So he is not a one-eyed man. All right, so this comment says, Wonton destruction. All right, hear me out. I know it's wonton. Oh my God, I can't even say it anymore. Wonton. Yeah, okay. Either way, I'm Asian. I love wontons. I call it wonton destruction. I know it's wrong. I know there's an A in here, but hear me out. I love wontons. So I'm like Sommers, man. I'm a food critic. Come on. I work at an Asian restaurant. This one says, Summers is actually a stand user with his hermit purple. This one says, I love that the Holy Knights are not just dickheads, but each has their own personality, unlike the other celestial dragons who are just dickheads. And I agree. The one dickhead that is getting better, though, is Shalria. You know, Charlos' sister, I believe, because she's actually starting to question what the hell is going on with the Void Sentry. So maybe she won't be a dickhead either. But yeah, I really like that they have their own personalities. Oda is really taking his time to flesh them out. Like, when you really boil this chapter down, a lot of it is just characterizing the God Knights. Like, he really likes these guys. And these are just 3 of them, right? We still got like 6 more potentially in the back foot, ready to go. And the thing is, too, Gunko, at any point in time, and I believe that Sommers and Killingham could even do it, but if these guys are ever threatened, if the Straw Hats are ever going to win on this island, Abyss. Bring in the other God Knights, and then boom, we could get more characterization, we could get more personalities, and we would have to fight a pretty big uphill battle. But yeah, I love it. This one says, Sommers' sword is clearly a thorn whip with a second handle. I can already see him entangling Sanji's legs to try to cripple him. That'd be interesting, but I also wonder how the thorns would do against Sanji's fire, right? Because typically vines and plants don't really mix well with fire. So could Sanji just burn through it? I think so. I feel it could make sense if Sommers tries to do that and then Sanji just, boom, gets out of it. Especially with his blue fire. Yeah, Ifrit Jambe is no joke. This one says, it's funny how Strussen's Devil Fruit gives you nutrients, but not the taste, while Killingham's Devil Fruit gives you the taste, but not the nutrients. That's a good observation. I didn't even realize that. This one says, so it's confirmed that the Holy Knights know that the Straw Hats are here in Elbaph. They don't really take them seriously, but they will soon realize how dangerous the Straw Hats can be. The thing with this too is that now that we have the chapter released, when Gunko says that Straw Hat Luffy is here in Elbaph and his whole crew is here, brother, they just cut over and they start talking about the kids again. Like, the Straw Hat Pirates being here was just a small blip. Like, hey, they're here, something's gonna happen. Oh yeah, the kids are on fire. You know, like the kids are gonna walk into that fire, guys. And it's like, yeah, they really don't take us super seriously. So I wonder how they're going to combat us. Like, do they know what we're capable of? Do they know that we beat their bosses to an extent? That we escaped Egghead Island? That Saturn is dead? Like, what is going on here? Are they that confident? I guess is my real question. But with that being said, though, guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for being here. I really freaking appreciate it as per usual. Thank you for spending your time over here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys next week. There is no break after this chapter and even the next chapter. I believe they announced that during the One Piece live stream. So yes, we're going to get 3 chapters back to back. Love to see it. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out and take care.